of all of a sudden just doing this interview, sir. I'll start right away with the first question. What do you expect to accomplish in your first year as mayor of Houston?
Well, my whole focus on running for mayor has been on modernization of the city. I really do think that we're perfectly positioned to not only be the fourth largest city, but to actually start acting like the fourth largest city. And my goal would be to become one of the most modern cities. And a lot of that focus is on technology, taking greater advantage of technology like other cities have done. And it would change really the overall management of the city. You would change the way we would analyze and track data and how we would respond to that data, because we would be holding the various departments responsible for whatever was showing up as we analyze the data. So I think that you could expect a much more efficient city and a much more responsive city, because whether you're talking about filling potholes, which we have way too many of, or illegal dumping, police response times, all of that would be impacted by taking greater advantage of technology. And the other big goal, there's been a lot of talk about the finances of the city, and that's going to have to be something that we start addressing immediately, because we can't continue on the path that we're on right now.
Yes, sir. Quick follow-up question. Do you believe that the technology being provided to Houston Public Schools is adequate?
It depends. One thing, when they started trying to talk about put a laptop in everyone's hands, it depends on what you're using the laptop for, and I really haven't done enough follow-up to know. If you take full advantage of technology in the school system, you can provide access to students to a wide range of materials that aren't just originating here in Houston, but all across the United States. And so if they're doing that, that would be great. If you're just giving someone a laptop so for the sake of saying, hey, we've given everyone a laptop, then I don't think you've accomplished a great deal. So I'd have to know a little bit more exactly what they are doing. I will tell you something that's sort of interesting is, we've made education an issue in this campaign, and when we originally did, a lot of people said, well, why are you talking about education? You're running for mayor, and that's really not the purview of the city, since you have a school board here. And my feeling is that if any governmental entity is in a position to help improve public school education, then we should. And we have a library system, obviously, with 41 branches, and in a lot of those branches, there's underutilized space that could be used for early childhood learning programs and things of that nature. And so those were some of the ideas that we put forth, and as a result of doing that, now just about everyone running for mayor is now talking about education, which I think is kind of interesting.
All right, sir, following up with education, do you believe Houston Public Schools are offering students equal opportunity in education?
No. I think a lot of it is sort of a luck of the draw based on where you're living. At the time, there's certain schools that are underperforming. I don't think we've done enough to really drive school choice here in the city of Houston. You're supposed to be allowed to move outside your district, but that's oftentimes easier said than done. And so there's a lot of geographic inequality here in the city of Houston, just like there's a lot of income inequality, and that's really a major issue in the city that's going to have to be addressed going forward. And if we don't do more to really get serious about improving public schools and narrowing that equality gap, then this isn't going to be the city that we all want it to be going forward.
Yes, sir, I agree. Following up, do you have any unique strategies that you will use to reach to the younger generation?
Well, I think we have. I think that's one of the reasons that we have focused so much on technology, because I think younger people get it. You've grown up with it. You understand it. You understand what can be accomplished as a result of taking advantage of technology. And so when we talk about modernizing, I do think it's a message that appeals to younger people. Of course, we've tried to take full advantage of social media. We've tried to visit as many schools and colleges as that we possibly could to talk to younger audiences and to try to draw them into the process. And I'm really excited because here in the closing weeks of the campaign, obviously there's been an all-out volunteer effort with people on the phones and people going out and putting up signs, and a tremendous number of those volunteers have come from area high schools.
Yes, sir. Of all the ways to engage